All right, so I totally did forget about the like ending of that intro part of it. That was a nice little surprise. They had some confetti and
You're like,
everything. Hey,
it's
everybody,
time to get the
how's it
party
going?
started.
Yeah, that's how you know it feels really good too to have like because we've been doing the after darks and like tomorrow we got the afternoon classes. So it's nice to have like the OG live intros going, and I'm really excited about this one. But hey, everybody out there, we're here for another fun live. And this one, I mean, as you guys saw by the thumbnail, this is all things Aurora. And my best friend in the whole wide world in the industry, Courtney, is hanging out with us from the Crafty Brick. So thank you for hanging out, Courtney.
Hello, Patrick. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to be hanging out with you today and talking about Aurora for day 19 of National Crafting Month.
Oh,
If
yeah.
people are just joining, I have been going live every single day this month to celebrate National Crafting Month. We've been doing lots of different things. Today is all things Aurora, and I'm very, very excited to show you because Patrick's got some cool techniques he's going to show us. And you guys have never seen my embroidery room live, but here it is. And we're going to do an embroidery project today.
Yeah, this is one thing I got an exclusive on today, right before we started. Courtney said she has never revealed this embroidery room yet on a live. So we're getting like firsthand look. And we have to really quickly just let everybody know in the comments, we have a ton of people from the Siser team. We got Adam in the background. We have Myrna back there. I see Pat Boyle in there. I see Stephanie's in there right now, who just did a Crafty live in this month with you, which was a
Yes,
really, really fun one on brick and laser. So
it was
that
amazing.
was really cool. So there's a ton of people also. So if you guys ever have any questions, comments, anything, feel free to drop them in. We'll try to answer as many as we can live, but we have a ton of people in the background that's also answering all of your questions as well, so that we can always make sure that you got all the info and all the stuff. But we're talking Aurora, and I think it's really important, just really quickly before we get in, talking about actually Aurora itself, that all the different colors that Aurora comes in. And I think people don't realize that when you see Aurora, or hear the name Aurora, you don't really attribute all of the different colors that you have. So I want to kind of go through them just really quickly, really fast before we hop into the live. We have Aurora Silver. We have right here the Parakeet, not to be mistaken with another one that we'll talk about here in a second. We have the gold-ish, because yeah, it's kind of gold-ish, you know. Then we also have the light green. We have the light blue. We have the yellow. We have what I really like is Borealis teal. Actually, no, sorry. Switched it up. See, I knew I did it to myself. Parakeet is this one, has more of a yellow-green hue to it. Then Borealis teal you can identify because it has more of like a green-blue hue to it, okay? So those are the two that are kind of the same, but different in the way that they look. And then we also have the red, and we have the white, as well as the pink. So I just wanted to make sure that we kind of went over and established all the different colors of Aurora, because we may only be using a couple colors in this live today, but you have a lot to choose from if you guys want to do these projects on your own. But I will say this, I'm going to hush right in the beginning of the live, because I know that Courtney has a fun project. So what we're going to do, kind of the structure of this live, Courtney's going to go over her first project, kind of walk you through it, give you a little explanation on the project itself. Once she's done with that, I'm going to hop into Leonardo and show you kind of the first part of my design and how to set this up to get this kind of cool effect. Then we're going to go right back over to Courtney. She's going to show us a fun HTV project while I'm cutting everything and getting it ready to press. Then we'll come right back here. I'll apply my design, and then you guys ultimately are going to learn a lot of fun stuff. So without further ado, or do, I still don't know what it is. I want to turn it over to you, Courtney, so that you can show us kind of your fun project with embroidery today.
Sweet. So today I'm showing you a key fob. It's since it's baseball season, the start of baseball season, I wanted to share a baseball key fob. So I've been doing some practicing because I've actually never done in the hoop project before. So that's what we're doing today. And it's a super quick and simple in the hoop project. So this I made is softball. So this is using the Aurora, to be honest. Oh, here I have the color here. This is the Aurora light green. So I use that for the softball. Today we're going to be using Aurora white, and we're going to be making a baseball. So here's the Aurora white. I just love like that shimmer that it has. And we're going to be using actually leather on the back. I just thought, initially I did it with felt, but then I was like, baseball, we need to do leather. So I love the way this turned out, and then snapping it closed. So I'm going to show you the whole process of how you do this in the hoop project in a very simple way. I always thought in the hoop projects were so hard, but I'm going to show you that it's not today. So first, what I've got is my what is this? This one is tearaway stabilizer. So I've got my mighty hoop. Let me bring this down a bit. Got my mighty hoop here, and the bottom of my hoop is here. I am going to undo the clips, put my tearaway stabilizer in there, and that's all I'm doing. I'm not even putting any fabric on it. Snap it up, snap it so that the stabilizer comes off, and then we're going to put it on our machine. Like so. And our first step is just doing this outline stitch so I know where to put our Aurora. First up, I am just going to trace to make sure that I am in the right spot and I'm not going to hit the hoop. So let's go ahead and trace this out. And we are good to go. It's not hitting the hoop in any location. So then I'm just going to press start. And it's going to do our first outline stitch.
So are you saying that what you just did is just kind of the same as like an area test?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh.
Hold on. Wait, what'd you say?
I said, so are you saying that what you just kind of did is kind of similar to an area test then?
Yes.
Just tracing out the kind of the outside contour of where your design's actually going to end up lying.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very cool.
So I'm going to take it out just to show you what it did. So here is the outline stitch.
Nice.
I don't normally take it out for that part, but I just wanted to show you guys. So let me get my other scissors. I don't want to use my fabric scissors for this Aurora. Let me just get my red scissors real quick. And what I'm going to do is just cut a little piece of the Aurora, enough that it's going to fit and cover the whole outline stitch that I just did. I'm going to remove the backing from the Aurora. I don't need the backing when I'm doing this applique. I take the Aurora and just set it right down. Actually, it's a little bit too big. And we're just going to set it on top of what I just stitched. Are we good? I think we are good to go with that size. Okay, now it's going to do our other stitch around and tack down our applique, pretty much our Aurora right here. So I'm going to press start. I'm just going to make sure that the Aurora doesn't move out of place. So I'm holding the fabric just to start it off so it doesn't move. All right. And then it just did that outline stitch. I'll show you that part. So now my Aurora is on here and stitched out. What I'm going to do now is I am removing my hoop from the machine. I'm not taking it off. I'm not taking any of my applique, anything off of the hoop, because that will mess up the positioning of it. But what I'm going to do now is put our leather onto the back of the hoop. So I'm going to cut just a little bit so that it actually fits around our design. So, and then I'm going to take a little bit of spray adhesive, spray it on right here just so it kind of stays in place and doesn't move. I'm attaching it to the back of the hoop. So right there on the back. And I'm going to add a little bit of tape just so it doesn't move. So we've got.
And while you're doing that, Courtney, too, because you're fairly new-ish to embroidery, correct?
Very new.
Very new. Okay. So how do you find the process, especially because I see that you got the newer Ricoma behind you too. So like, yes. How do you feel that it's been since you've kind of started and jumped into like a new craft or a new skill set? Because I think there's a lot of people in the comments that they may do HTV, they may do screen print, they may do just embroidery, but want to kind of tackle a new skill or another craft. So how did you feel like the intro to embroidery was for you? And then also, how are you feeling now that you've kind of gotten established, and like how much time do you feel like that really took you to kind of get it, you know, and figure it out?
Well, to be honest, Rokoma did a really good job with the onboarding call.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like a 2-hour training session, a live,
Oh, cool.
like a virtual live training session with
Mm-hmm.
somebody walking me through the machine, telling me how everything worked. If I hadn't had that, I feel like it would have been extremely overwhelming and a little too much. It was already overwhelming, this big old machine in my
Yeah.
house. I'm like, how the heck do I use this thing? So
Yeah.
that was helpful to start. And I mean, I made a project that day on the live. So that was nice. And then I just kept trying new things. I have messed up a lot. But it's just like learning any new thing. You're going to mess up and then you get the hang of it. Like I was always so scared for my thread to break or my bobbin to run out. I'm like, oh, how am I going to change it? But then you just get more comfortable once you do it. I mean, this is the first time I've ever done in the hoop project, and I did that last week.
Nice. But that's
I
good.
was like, yeah, I didn't know how to do it, but
yeah. Yeah, I just feel like we get questions all the time, you know, as individual creators about like, you know, when I want to get into something new, how do I even get started? And exactly what you just said, hit it. Just start. Just try it. Just play with it. See how it works. Break it. Fix it. That's kind of how this works in this industry overall, you know. So cool. Awesome.
Actually, let me just show you. So I put it on the back. I taped it down. I put a little spray adhesive and taped it down so it doesn't move. So this is on the front. This is on the back. And now I'm going to put it back on my machine. And then I finish the last stitch. So then I press start. And now it's going to do my baseball stitching and the whole outline. And that's it. I mean, this is a fast project. We're almost finished with it. And I love the Aurora. Is so nice. You can do so. The Aurora is a cutaway for applique, and some of the other materials like brick, I believe, is tearaway. Glitter is tearaway. So you'll see that I'm going to have to cut around this when I finish with my project. But some of the other HTVs, you can just tear them right away. Oh, what is it doing? Oh, it wants to do another.
Okay. Yeah, and Stephanie, if you're in the comments right now, maybe you can comment really quickly, just the different like types of materials that we carry. So glitter being a tearaway, Aurora being a cuttable, and things like that. Because I know that Stephanie has tested pretty much everything in the Siser lineup against embroidery to see what would work the best too. So
let me spin in closer. So it's just doing the outline stitch here. And going along my baseball key fob, and it's finished. That's it. That is it. And then my machine tells me it's done. I remove it from the hoop. It's all finished. I take the hoop off. I do not put them together because these mighty hoops, the magnet is so strong, it will snap your fingers. So I keep them apart until I come back to it. So now this is what it looks like. So all I have to do is just cut around. I don't want to cut the stitching. I'm cutting just around the stitching. And then our key fob, that part is done. All we have to do is add our little plastic snap. I mean, I think that's like the fastest embroidery project I've ever done. It is so fun.
That was actually really fast. When you said it was quick, I didn't believe you that it was that fast, but that did go pretty fast. And I will say this, I have very limited experience with embroidery and like the larger machines, but that honestly, you being able to even talk a little bit in the room while that machine was going, it's also kind of proof that machine is pretty quiet for the most part.
Yeah, not too bad. And I like having the training with it to get you more comfortable with using it. So here is the finished. You'll see there's one little like jump stitch right there, and we'll just snip it off. This is our finished key fob, and we're going to go over to the other room and I'll put the snap on, and then I'll show you also, if you don't have an embroidery machine, how you can still make this key fob with Aurora and just other HTV. We're going to use Aurora and EasyWeave. So it's very cool. So I'm going to switch out of this room, say goodbye to the embroidery room.
All right, I'm going to pull up your other room here. There we go. All right, I'm looking here too. Yeah, Stephanie had just, I'm going to put this up one more time. Stephanie had just laid out diamond dust, tearaways on most designs. Depends on the satin stitch itself. And then glitter rips away, strip flock is a rip away, and then twinkle does not tear away. All righty here. I think I muted your other. I think I muted your.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Okay, I'm back. Let me get back. Okay. Cool. So let's see. Do you want to show your Aurora? Should I do?
Yeah, you want me to hop into mine first, really quick, and then we'll come back to yours. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Awesome. I'm gonna remove you for a second, and I'll bring you right back. Okay.
Perfect.
All righty. Awesome. So there's a really, really fun technique that we actually kind of discovered with Aurora. Now, the way that the Aurora pattern works, and I want to see if I can really capture this for you on the overhead. As you can see with Aurora, let me actually go back to that parakeet because that showed really, really well. Or the Borealis here. Here we go. This will give us a good representation. So as you can see with Aurora, that there's actually basically vertical lines that kind of create this iridescent shimmer across the material itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to use basically the grain of the material to cut a design in two different ways to kind of give us almost like a little drop shadow effect. So I'm going to show you briefly here what we're going to try to create. And actually on the heat press cam, it showed really, really well on the carrier. So we're going to show you how to make kind of this drop shadow, looks sort of embossed type design. And I'm going to show you how to make this really simple, no matter what kind of software you're using. But I would be remiss if I didn't use Leonardo for this project. So I'm going to simply bring in my design first, which thank you so much to Emily over on the graphics team for knocking this out for me really quick. But I'm just going to bring in this SVG that's already made, and we'll go over the structure of how this was kind of made itself. So this is a basic athletic font numbers, and just strategically setting out to find any of those points in the number itself that could be used for more of like a drop shadow effect. So this actual design, if I split it up, is two different pieces of my design. Now, what I want to explain is the first thing we need to do is let's just take all of the same colors of my design. So this portion of the 23, and we're going to weld those together just to keep those in place. Secondly, we're going to take the other portion, or my drop shadow, which is the darker portion of this design, and we're going to weld those same colors together as well. Now, what I'll do is I'm just going to bring these back in order so that we can see everything as we're doing it. And I'm going to size this design on down. Now, I'm using a bag today. We're going to make kind of like a game day bag with your, kid's name or number on it, and just something that we can kind of carry to the ballpark, carry to a game, whatever we need, and be able to have all of our stuff in it. So I'm going to actually cut this about 5 inches or so. And here's where the effect really, really takes shape. Okay, so I'm going to actually zoom in Leonardo, and I'm going to pull over this portion of my design. Now, as I mentioned to you guys, that Aurora runs, the design itself, or the pattern of Aurora runs vertically. Okay, so I have, for the first part of my design, we can cut this just as is, okay? But for the actual drop shadow, because it's on a slight angle, we actually don't want to use that vertical pattern straight up and down, north and south on the drop shadow. What we're going to do is I'm going to simply rotate this pattern until I get that drop shadow effect, or those lines are headed north and south, okay? And here's the reason why, is that what we're going to do, and this will actually take you back, there's a little nostalgia in this project, because this will take you back to when you were a kid, and we used to make those really funny looking S's where you had to draw like the 3 lines on top, 3 lines on bottom, you had to connect them all and then connect the top and the bottom, made that really fun design. Well, we're kind of doing the same effect here, where we're just manipulating the artwork and using the material just as standard. So kind of hopping back into Leonardo, you can see now that if all of my material, and I'll bring up just let me bring point to point there. do that, and we'll just do that to a curve really quick. Okay. Let me bring, here we go. There's my vector tool. So the pattern of Aurora, again, I just want to explain it one more time for visually, because I know that I usually go way too fast for you guys sometimes, and I know I get yelled at about it all the time. So the pattern of Aurora runs, like I said, vertically on the material. So we're going to be using this part of the 23, which is just the normal part of the number, and we're going to cut that as like normal on our Aurora. But because that pattern, again, runs that same way, we've now dropped the drop shadow. So now the pattern will actually run this way, which will give us more of that effect, okay? So what I'm going to do now is, now that my design is all lined up, I'm going to use the same material. We're going to actually use the, you know, you guys can pick. You guys can pick for this one, because both of these will show really well. Either I'm going to use the parakeet, the borealis teal, or are we going to use the red? So you have parakeet, borealis teal, or you can just put teal in the comments, or red. You guys can decide what material we're actually going to use to cut this. Obviously, the crafty brick is always going to say red. So I saw that one sneak in there. All right, we got another red. We'll give everybody just a couple more seconds. Ooh, somebody said pink too. We might have to throw that in the mix. All right, I'm getting a bunch. Right now, I'm getting a bunch of red. So we're just going to go, we'll go with the crafty brick red for now. And then what we'll go ahead and do is maybe what we can do afterwards. I'm doing another crafting, or no, I'm sorry, a Siser afternoon. So we've been doing the Siser after dark classes, doing a Siser afternoon tomorrow at noon. So make sure you head over to the Siser page so that you can register for that event. But I'll use the pink and I'll use the other colors that you guys selected maybe for my design tomorrow. Okay. So with that, I have my red, just my regular red. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this into my Juliet the same way that I would anything else. And because I've manipulated the front of the design, that first layer of the design and that second layer of the design, I don't have to do anything actually to this material as I'm cutting it out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go into Leonardo really quick to show you this process. I have my design selected. I'm going to simply hit send design and send design again. And as you can see, not only is my drop shadow layer is still in alignment the way it should be, and my normal layer, my front layer is also in the right orientation. They're already mirrored. And then the auto weed box, I can just hit O, pop that auto weed box in for both of those. And then now I have a really convenient, easy to weed portion of my design. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut all of this. I'm going to flash back over to Courtney so that she can actually go over showing you how to put the rivets in and then go through her project a little bit more in depth. And then when we come back, I'll actually show you the application of this design. And then we'll be able to kind of wrap this thing up. I know Courtney's got one more project. So you ready, Courtney, for the second one? All righty. All right, cool.
Actually, when you come back, I want you to answer. I'm so curious, how did you do the 3D effect to start on that design? So
like the actual 3D effect itself?
Yeah.
So this is a big one. I will say this. I will not claim this design for my own because this one Emily had knocked out for me. But based off of what I'm looking at in the design, it's just strategically placing. Now there's multiple ways you can do this. So if I were to take like normal athletic font, let's see. A good way to start would be, let's go Crafty. There we go. One simple way to kind of start this process would be to create a duplicate layer and then start kind of building your drop shadow from there. Okay. And then what we would do is you can go ahead and change the color of that secondary layer. And what I like to do is I like to actually bring that drop shadow layer to the background.
Not showing us that. Can you show your screen?
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm not even showing you my screen. Let me start that again. So I have my normal font or my normal text up on screen. I'm going to add a secondary contour and change just the color of it so I can see what I'm working with. That's really all we're doing here right now. And then what I can do is take that yellow layer, which is going to be that quote unquote drop shadow, bring it to the back. And now I can actually go through my design, and I can do this one of two ways. I can highlight my whole design and I can select stamp keep, which as we know will remove the background or at least remove the front layer from the back layer, but keep all of the portions that aren't overlapped. So right there is a really simple, quick way I can add a drop shadow. And then what I can do for this one, if I want to have it go in a very specific direction, this is just about how I orient this drop shadow. So for this particular one, for this yellow layer, I may decide to rotate it so that once I get the actual effect of the material and I put those two together, it'll create kind of this effect that we're trying to do. Does that make sense that way?
It does. That's super helpful.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Now I'm going to cut over to you so that you can show the next part of your design.
Sweet. Okay. So I got this package of a bunch of plastic snaps. I had actually never even used this before. So this a whole bunch of new stuff going on for me this week. So basically what you're going to do, fold it over, see where your snaps are going to go. And I am going to just poke this hole through. Okay. I'm going to poke the hole through both sides. Then what we're going to do is take this pointy side, push that through. And then this one that's kind of sticking up a little bit, you're going to put that on. And then we're going to center this on with our little, I don't even know, this tool that presses it on. And then look at that, it's on there. And then we're going to do the other side that we've already pressed through. But there's another piece for the other side where it's a different angle so that they actually snap together. One is pressing up or has like a, male, female components, that side. And then we're doing this side. We're going to put it on the exact same way. Find that center with our tool. And we're going to press down. And then it snaps closed. And we've got our key fob. So this is our applique one. And I also wanted to show you how easy it is to do the exact same effect. Oh, and actually we've got a little tape on here. So this was just left over from what we taped down with our embroidery. You can just peel that off. Okay, so we've got embroidery. And then I've already cut these, but I just cut a little Aurora. So we'll go ahead, weed the Aurora. And this was an embroidery file, but I ended up kind of making it into an SVG as well. I put the embroidery file in the link in the description on my page. This one I just made in Leonardo. So I was able to trace it and turn it into an SVG. But I love the details. Juliet can cut so accurately. I love the little details of the stitching. I'm not going to talk about what this key fob looks like, but we'll just leave that thing. Every time I look at it, I'm like, what is this key fob? What kind of key fob am I making? So we've got our leather here also that I've already cut. And then we're going to put the Aurora and line it up on the back of the key fob because we don't want the outside of the leather showing. So this is going to be the inside of our key fob. So we line it up, press on. Oh, my press doesn't want to come over this far, so I need to move it over. Let's see. Okay, and then we'll press our Aurora. Because it is HTV, it does press on to our material. So we're going to press that on. And I just did a quick press because we're also doing another press on top. Then we're going to press on our baseball stitching. So we are coming with the same effect that we got on the other one, but this is if you don't have an embroidery machine.
And as you guys can see too, you're using just a mini press for this.
I'm using just a mini press.
Really, really simple. Yeah, really, really simple.
Really, really simple. Look at this. So, I mean, it's given the same effect. It doesn't have, the raised stitching like the embroidery does, but it's giving that same baseball feeling with the fancy Aurora shimmer. Some friends with me in the gutter over here.
Listen, I will tell you this though. The good news is, in Patrick fashion, I totally messed up the red layer. So whoever decided on the Borealis teal. It's your lucky day.
It's your lucky day. Perfect.
What I ended up doing, I made the design slightly too big. And so I tried to cut it above for whatever reason. And I just didn't move the blade over far enough. So silly mistake, but mistakes happen. And if it's going to happen, what does Stephanie always say? It's going to happen live.
Happen on a live.
Gonna happen live. There's no doubt about it.
Oh,
but we're back. We're back in action now.
Other half here.
I think that's so cool. I like doing. I have one of those handheld rivet machines too, and like punches. And I really like them. They're super convenient.
They are. I mean, I had never used it, but I really like it.
So this is your first time using those too?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm telling you, I've just been going on a crafty adventure this month, trying out new things.
That's awesome, though.
Really fun.
Well, and I will say you're a lot more adventurous than I am, because you know me. Sometimes I get too caught up in my craft, the crafty stuff we're doing. So
guys, here are our two things. We finished an embroidered one, an applique. This is the applique. This is the HTV. I mean, they're both very nice. The applique just has a little bit more dimension than the HTV. It doesn't want to get in on my white. It's a little too bright, I think. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. A little more dimension than our flat one does, the HTV. But they're both very, very nice.
Love it.
I'm happy.
I love it. I love it. It's very cool. All righty. So what I'm doing really quickly is I'm just weeding out this design really fast, just so we can see it. So let me go ahead to the overhead. And Aurora, sometimes on the backing of it it's not hard to see your cut lines, but think of it as like a glitter, where sometimes, you know, it is a little bit more difficult. Sometimes those lines bleed into each other. So just take your time with weeding it. It weeds beautifully. I mean, it's a thicker material than an easy weed, but it very much weeds like an easy weed, where it kind of just glides off of the actual carrier sheet. So that's what I really love about it. It's an easy product to work with. But as you can see here, as I get through just my drop shadow layer, like I told you guys, what we were doing is we are going to keep this on an angle, because the grain of my material runs this way. So this will give me that really fun effect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of this layer, or weed out this portion of my design, which will be the way that the design should look, or like kind of the standard. Let's go ahead and weed that out. Weed that out.
Well, somebody just had such a good idea. Danny said, oh my gosh, this is so great. I could use the brick to get the raised effect on the HTV. Ooh. That's an awesome idea.
Let's put that up just for anybody else that might want to try it. Yeah, the brick would do really, really well. The other one that might work really well too, just thinking of depth and dimension, is strip flock.
It's strip flock. Yes.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I like it. I like it.
This is why I like doing these lives too. Everybody gives us really fun suggestions.
I'm trying to see if I have some
red
brick, because that'd be fun.
So there we go. So now here's kind of what we're left with. Okay, we have portion of our design and you can see that the grains are kind of running this way. And now we have the portion of the design where this is the way that the actual grain of the material runs, but we're kind of tilting it over a little bit. So what I think we do next is let's hop over to the heat press, and I'll show you really fast how to put these two layers together, and then kind of what that end result looks like.
This is so cool. I also just wanted to point out, if anybody is going to get some Aurora, just make sure you do your test cut when you are using it for the first time, because it is definitely thicker than easy weed. So your easy weed settings will not work. You got to put a little more force on with Aurora.
Yeah, and actually I am using with this one too, just because I've kept it in since we launched them, I'm actually using the deep cut blade with the Aurora too, and it cuts beautifully with that deep cut blade.
Good to know.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, Renee said strip flock as the base layer to make a tennis ball. I love it.
That's
a good idea too.
Yep. Oh, and I have to, is there a preset for Aurora? This is actually a really great question. There are presets available at SiserNA.com. So if you do have or need any of the cut settings for any Siser products, SiserNA.com, it's listed under every single one of the materials under the materials section. Or if you have an Android or an iPhone, we got a mobile app. So you can always download the mobile app, and it gives you all of the up-to-date information. Actually, add a mobile app with iPhone. Is that one still available, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I just want to make sure it's still available. So yeah, so you can download the Siser North America mobile app or the Siser mobile app and have all of these cut settings, colorways, and everything right at your fingertips. So another really great tip.
I have a little something to add on to that. Those are recommended settings because sometimes your blade might not be in the exact same position as what it was when they were test cutting. So you need to test cut with your machine on what your blade is set to because it might be just a little bit different. So don't just go on the website, get those cut settings and be like, it doesn't work. Why did you tell me that this works? It might not work with those exact settings.
And here is exactly to tie that all together. As Stephanie always says, test cut, test cut, test cut. Always test cut. Yeah. And guys, also too, that's a really great point to note as well, is like when we do all the testing for you, our team does an awesome job at finding all the cut settings for all of our materials. However, remember, we work in a very controlled environment. So new blades, we're using new tools, new utensils all the time. So when you are in your own home, as Courtney just did mention, or you're in your craft space, or you're in your business, you may not have a brand new blade every time you have a brand new material. So it's also test cutting and making sure that you can start with those settings, but you may have to move on, whether up or down in those settings might be more beneficial or better for you when you are making things. So yeah, that's a really great point to highlight for sure. Okay, got my design ready to go. So as we always do, I always put my design together just to get it started. And you can already see that effect kind of taking shape. We have a carrier and lights in the studio, so that's why, it's got a little bit of a hue to it. But let's go ahead and press. So I've already pre-pressed out my garment, which in this case, we're using the hoodie bags. I love these like little hoodie tote bags from Sanmar. But I thought that this is awesome because, baseball season's coming up for my son, and Amanda loves throwing snacks and all that stuff in the bag for the kids, especially the girls when we're sitting at baseball. So, this is going to be a really cool thing for me to make for him, with his baseball number and all of that stuff on it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my first layer. And we always recommend, if you have a cover sheet that is fully covering your design, meaning covering all of the heat transfer material, it operates the same as a cover sheet. You don't necessarily need it, but we always recommend to cover your design up. If you do, secondly to that, if you ever have a design in which you have a little bit of material exposed, that's 100% of the time, always use some kind of cover sheet to protect not only the platen of your heat press, but also the integrity of your design itself. With Aurora, just so you know too, I do apply it at 305 for 15 seconds on the website. But in between these two layers, I'm going to apply it for about 8 to 10 seconds just to get a decent application. But Aurora is a warm, I will say a warm cold peel, but more leaning on the cold peel side. So you should wait until it's pretty much cold to the touch before you actually go ahead and peel that layer off. But because we're on a live, I'll do it for you right now. I'll pre-peel it and we'll see what happens.
Patrick, I didn't even notice you had on a Mirrored Mindset shirt. I see your MM in the video.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. I was gonna plug that towards the end of this, but I think while I'm pressing this out, it's a perfect opportunity, guys. My friend over there has a new brand and was very, very nice and gracious to send me one, which I love. And it looks, listen, this looks like just a hoodie. I get it right now. It looks like just a hoodie. But the cool part is, and as you can see, Courtney has one on too. What she was actually, oh, this side, sorry. My screen isn't mirrored now, so I'm messing myself up. So right here, it actually says strong, but it's written mirrored. So the cool part about this brand, and I want to give Courtney plenty of time to plug this too, but the fun part about this brand is it is self-affirmations when you're looking in the mirror. So it's really a really awesome thing. And she specifically picked this one out for me, and I appreciate it. I don't think she realizes at the time that she did the strong for me that I really needed to hear that myself. So already you know that the brand is working. So I want, plug that, plug, please.
Yes, Mirrored Mindset. It's just basically seeing your truth when you look in the mirror, because sometimes, you can show the world a certain thing, but on the inside, you might not feel exactly that. You might not feel super confident. You might have imposter syndrome. You might be scared of stuff, but what you see is what you see in the mirror. So you wear your Mirrored Mindset. There's different affirmations each month. Right now, they come out the first of every month. So right now, March is closed, but April 1st, it will open up again, and you can purchase. We've got hoodies, we've got crop tops, and now we have t-shirts as well for spring. And you can wear your truth right here on your shoulder. And when you look in the mirror, it just reminds you of what you want to be. So be who you see. That is the mantra for Mirrored Mindset.
Love it. I love it. And they can get it from your website, right now?
Craftybrick.com. Yep.
Nice. Very, very
Yes.
cool. Yeah, I love this thing. It's also too, just for anybody out there that needs the review to buy, I will say it's a very comfortable. It's like premium quality hoodie. We're not working. I don't want to bash any brand name, but we're not working with low grade, low quality material here. This feels really good. It's super soft. And I will say this too, just because my wife steals it all the time, and she'll wear it. Like, she likes to wear it to bed. She likes to wear it around the house. She wears it all the time too, because it's comfortable. So if it's Amanda approved, it's Patrick approved.
I forget which one I've got on Brave today. I wear so many of them. I'm like, I forget what my word is until I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh yes, Brave. Brave.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. So if you are in, I know that for some people right now it's getting a little warmer outside, but guess what? There's crops, there's hoodies, there's all the kind of stuff. So you got plenty of options and plenty of things that you can buy to support the Crafty Brick and Courtney, for sure.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. All righty, let me go ahead now on the overhead. Let's do what we'll call the final peel reveal. How about that?
Here, make it bigger. No. Do it. Give it the whole screen, Patrick. Take me
you want me to go whole screen? All right, here we go.
Whole screen. I need to see the full.
Right, I'm going to remove you for 1 second then. All right, here we go. Peel that off. Look at that. That looks absolutely incredible. And it gives like this really cool diamondy, drop shadowy. I mean, it's just a whole vibe in itself. And you can really see in here too the portions of the design that are going, vertical, and then you can see the portions of the design that are going diagonal, which really gives that fun effect. And this, it kind of reminds me of like the silicone geometrical patches that you can buy. And I think that looks really awesome. There we go.
Is seriously amazing. Okay, so can you remind us what degree you turned your pattern?
Yeah, so I would say for this one, basically 90 degrees. So here's the way that I thought about it in my head, or at least the way that I mapped it out in my head. And actually, let me just grab a piece of paper and a marker, because it's going to make it a lot easier to explain.
Okay.
If I can kind of draw it out a little bit, as opposed to doing it in software. Because I do know sometimes when we do stuff in software, people still don't, it doesn't translate the right way. All righty. So we're going to go back on the overhead. So I just want to show you guys kind of how this works out. So in this design itself, we have portions of the design. Again, the material is always going to run this way. Okay, it's always going to run north and south. Oh, that's not even bright enough or dark enough. Here we go. In the material itself, like we explained, the pattern runs this way, north and south. Okay, so what we're doing is we're basically taking the number and we're taking a portion of the two, and we're going to show it at I'll call it the 0 position. And then we're going to take this same 2 and we're just going to rotate it 90 degrees so that we can get the same effect of that pattern. But what we're doing is we're now creating what would be that drop shadow. So if I had a normal 2 here, this portion that's rotated 90 degrees, instead of running a north and south, it's just going this way. And that's creating that effect. And I'll just add that like that, so it's really easy to see the little drop shadow in the back. There we go. And then it kind of runs like this. So it gives that dimension and that depth by simply just rotating a portion of the image itself to then give it a new effect or a new way. And that's kind of what we've been doing here at Siser a lot. I feel like the last few months is figuring out not only how you can use these materials, just a standard, an easy weed is an easy weed. But what happens when you mix an easy weed? Or I'm sorry, we'll go Eco Stretch. An Eco Stretch is just a stretchable product, but what happens when you mix it with brick? What happens when you play around with brick and laser machines, right? There's a lot of different things you can do with Siser materials, but it's also a lot of it comes down to the reason why you're able to do some of these things, like your certifications, knowing that you put that brick in your laser machine, we know that it has some kind of admission to it, but we know that the product itself is deemed safe and laser friendly so that it's not emitting a bunch of dangerous chemicals into your room. The same reason why with Strip Flock Pro, we found ways now to stack it to create really beautiful faux patches. Or Myrna had an awesome project that she did. Was that Mother's Day, right? The keychain? Valentine's Day, sorry. Yeah. I knew it had a heart on it and it was pink, so I remember that. But did an awesome keychain using brick, right? And that was also kind of with the inspiration for other projects that we've done with brick and with other materials. So we're really just trying to not reinvent materials. You know, I feel like there's a lot of companies out there right now that they're coming out with any effect and every effect. It's like we can use some of these materials and some of these techniques to create those effects without having to break the bank and overspend, and also kind of overpromise ourselves, you know, what that outcome can actually look like. So yeah, just one simple effect by simply turning a portion of a design 90 degrees. That's it. And we get a really fun effect at the end of the day. Where did my bag go actually? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm definitely going to do this.
We need to couple the applique keychain and then this and make like a baseball thing for this season.
Yes, you do.
I'm in if you're in.
Okay, sweet.
Cool. All right. Well, here's what I want to do, though. I do want to let everybody ask any questions that they have. I see Angel B's popped in now. I'm seeing BB's in here. I mean, there's a ton of folks that have popped in, some before the live, some during the live, a little bit later in the live. So any questions that you guys have of any of these processes or just questions you have for Courtney and I want to give a couple minutes before we kind of wrap up. And this was fun. This was really fun.
Really fun.
Yeah.
I also want to let everybody know, those of you that have been watching so far this month, you already know this, but you can purchase Romeo and Juliet at the Crafty Brick now. thecraftybrick.com. You can purchase Romeo and Juliet, and they're on a big sale for National Crafting Month. So check them out, thecraftybrick.com under Siser Cutters. It's on the main page, and you can save some money. If you've been on the fence wondering, should I get one of these cutting machines? You should. This is your sign. You should get one. There it is right there. Patrick pulled it up. Romeo and Juliet, they're both 10% off. You're not going to find that price anywhere right now. It's a special Crafty Brick price for National Crafting Month. So check it
and then
out.
Also too, right here is Mirrored Mindset is sitting right on the website as well. So you have both links. You only have to go to one place to get both links. Just throwing that out there.
Yep. Thank you, Patrick.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, and well, you have one last thing to plug as well, because somebody that I know might be certified in something that I know that might also teach classes and stuff. So the people may want to know about it.
The people may want to know that I am like a Siser certified trainer now.
Really quick, I will just say this is how in sync Stephanie and I are. She just commented this as I was saying that too. This is her and I are so in sync. Sometimes it's scary.
That is wild. You know what? I actually just had a class just this past Saturday. It's amazing. It's a class for beginners to Romeo and Juliet and the Leonardo Design Studio cutting software. So there's another one. I'm doing them once a month right now. So I've already done the one for March, but April should be opening in just a moment. I'll put that on the website. And yeah, it's really great. It's a 2-hour class. You can come in knowing nothing about Romeo, Juliet, or LDS, Leonardo Design Studio. You're going to leave being able to make a project right when you're finished with that class. And it's live, so you can ask all the questions you want. So just so you know. And Nanny got the machine yesterday, took advantage of the deal. Awesome.
Yep. Here we go. Oh, here we go. This is nice. Love both projects. They're so cool. Thank you, Courtney, and all the crafts this month. Patrick for sharing the knowledge and techniques. Of course. That's why we're here. That's why we love doing this every day. It's like we get to have fun. We get to also fail for you so that you guys get to fail forward. That's the way that we work this out, right? We get to make the mistakes on lives. We get to play around with the equipment and the new stuff that's coming out in the industry, so that by the time it gets into your home or gets onto your screen, you now can go and purchase with confidence, and you can have the confidence to kind of start creating. Look at Courtney. She just started with embroidery and is already making things pretty regularly with her embroidery machine. So it doesn't matter how new you are to this stuff. It doesn't matter if this is your first time seeing a Leonardo or a Juliet or a Romeo. It doesn't matter if it's the first time that you've seen Courtney teaching a class on this stuff, or whether it's any of the other machines. I'll say the bug. We'll add the bug and the silhouette in there too. But doesn't matter where you're starting. It's about
God.
just getting started and then having the confidence to know that there's people like us around that will educate you, will teach you along the way. So thank you so much, Courtney, for doing what you do and just hanging out in the live in general. And I know I texted you last night. I said, I feel like it's been so busy this month or this last week. I feel like I've been MIA, but it's funny. We just hop into a live and we knock it out. We knock it out. Have fun.
Well, I asked Patrick to do this with me this month and he didn't even hesitate. He was just like, yes. And I'm like, do you want to know when it is? He's like, I'm going to be there. Yeah, sure. Tell me when it is. I'm going to be there.
Yeah, you just let me know and I'm there for you, kid, anytime. But yeah, and then also too, we are running, we have just started the last couple of months right before we wrap up here. So you can go to Courtney. She is teaching Romeo, Juliet, Leonardo, and as a certified trainer, also a great brand partner of ours too. So definitely go onto the website. If you are looking for a cutter, if you're looking for more things, she has everything and anything you want to learn and know over on the website and over on social. But here at Siser, we're also doing Siser After Dark. So for anybody that's that has heard of the Siser After Dark classes, those are going on right now 4 times a month, basically every Thursday. There's going to be night classes at the 7 p.m. hour, which we've done a couple of them already. We've shown you Romeo, Juliet, Leonardo. We're doing the basics of all heat transfer vinyl. But the next one is actually tomorrow, and that's going to be a daytime one. So if you want to register over, you can go to CaesarNA.com to register, but you can also follow us over on all of our social channels and get those as well. It's another place where you can learn the system, you can learn the software, you can learn our materials, and hopefully just give you the confidence and comfortability to start these things for yourself. So other than that, any other plugs, Courtney?
I think I do not have any other plugs.
All right. We're all plugged out now, guys.
The new class is not up yet for April. It will be, but I put the link for where it will be, the Crafty Classroom. So It's not up for April. If you would like to know about classes, let me give you the link so you can join my mailing list and you'll get information about the classes.
And I will put over on here too. Somebody just asked, they said they need my social channels. Follow us at Siser everywhere. But if you are on IG, you can follow me at Patrick. What is it, Adam, really quick? Is it Patrick _? I can't remember.
You're like, I don't know.
For Instagram? I don't remember what it is now.
Siser?
Well, I changed it so it was a little bit more consistent than before.
Patrick _
Siser NA. There we go. Patrick _ Siser NA. All right, there you go. So that's just the Instagram itself. If you guys do want to follow along as well. Cool.
Sweet.
All righty. Any thing in the back? Any questions that we didn't answer? I think we've hit all of them. Cool. Awesome. All right, Courtney. Well, that's a wrap on another Crafty live. And so hopefully you got a few more days of the month. So you got some fun stuff. Do you want to plug any of the things that you're going to be making yet, or do you not have them all yet figured out?
The rest of this week, tomorrow we're doing magnetic bookmarks, and then we're doing sublimation on Friday without a sublimation printer. And next week, Jennifer from Pigskin and Pigtails is joining me. So we're going to be doing
Jennifer
next week.
That's awesome.
It's going to be so fun.
That's very, very cool. All right. Well, make sure that you follow the Crafty Brick on all social platforms, as well as Siser North America on all social platforms everywhere. Over on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. We both also have groups that you can join as well over on Facebook. That's just a great place where like-minded creatives are also all teaching each other and working together. But if we got nothing else, we're ready to head out of here.
Ready to head out of here.
All right.
I will see y'all tomorrow, 10 a.m., same place, same time. We're going to be live making something else. So
love it. Love it. All right, guys. Well, with that, if you guys ever have any questions or need anything, reach out to us at info@CaesarNA.com. But until next time, bye, everyone.
Stay crafty, my friends. Bye.